Hey YouTube, how's it going? Kevin Cleary here with a gear video, and today I want to talk about the top 5 things that everyone should carry, and I want to start that discussion by asking, what have you got in your pocket right now? And go ahead and click the comments down below and share that with me. Now, here's what's going to happen. Some of you are going to have all kinds of things, and you're going to have a solution for just about every possible situation that could arise. And then others of you are going to say, you know, look, I've got my cell phone, I've got my keys, and I've got my wallet, and that's about it. All right, and it's that latter group of you that I really want to focus on with this video. For the earlier group, I would love to hear your comments, and I would love to hear some recommendations, because other viewers watching this can go down there and get some good ideas for their own items to carry around. But for those of you who are saying, hey, I've only got a cell phone, a wallet, and a set of keys, I want to think about a couple of things with you, okay? First of all, I think you'll have to agree with me when I say that in this world, it's a pretty high frequency that problems are going to arise. There's a pretty good chance that you're going to run into some challenges from time to time. Okay, you're going to find bad weather. It's going to rain. Something's going to leak when it shouldn't leak. Something's going to catch on fire that shouldn't catch on fire. You're going to have a medical emergency, or someone close to you is. There are going to be car accidents. There are going to be power outages. All kinds of things are going to happen to you, and those are only the big things. There are all kinds of little things like opening packages or cutting up an apple, or doing a minor car repair. And all of those things are going to be needs that come up all the time. And my question to you is, what are you going to do? Okay, and if you're saying, well, I'm gonna, I've got a cell phone, I can call for help. Well, yeah, that's sometimes true, but number one, your cell phone isn't always going to work. It's not always going to have a full battery. It's not always going to be in coverage. And number two, those people who are responding to that call may be delayed for any number of reasons. And I can tell you from personal experience, both as a first responder and the one being making the call for first responders, that call can sometimes take a long time to get to. And if something really bad is happening, it behooves each of us to take some responsibility and to some extent be able to be our own first responder. Okay, so let's now go ahead, and that's kind of a worst case scenario, guys. The reality is most of these items are just handy tools to have for all the regular weird stuff that happens when your desk drawer gets jammed shut, or your chair breaks, or some stupid thing like that happens, or your kids break their toys and bring it to you to fix. Okay, those are the kinds of things that you're going to find most often happen that require some good everyday carry tools. All right, and the first tool that I want to touch on is going to be a folding knife. There are all kinds of different folding knives out there in all kinds of different price points, all kinds of configurations, colors, handle shapes, blade shapes, sizes, everything else you could think of. And all of them have this one thing in common. They're designed to cut stuff, and most of them do a pretty darn good job as long as you keep them sharp, which I recommend that you do. And if you've got one, you're prepared to deal with all kinds of stuff. Cutting up a piece of fruit, cutting a string off your sweater, opening a package, opening your mail, and on we could go. In fact, many of you have that one friend that carries a pocket knife all the time, and you're always asking him. I remember one time going to the movies, and for some, it's dark, and we're trying to be quiet, and everyone's trying to open up their bag of candy that they bought to eat in the movies, and I pulled out my knife and cut it open, and guess what? All of the other 6 people there were like, dude, that's so handy. Can I borrow that knife? Okay. And so even something as mundane as opening a package at the movies is a useful thing to do with your folding knife. So there are tons and tons of reasons. Now, I do want to speak to one issue here, and that is some of you are going to say, my friends are going to think I'm crazy if I start carrying a knife everywhere, or my coworkers are, or whatever. Well, one, if they know you and they know you're not crazy and they see that you use it as a tool, they're not going to think that at all. Okay. The other thing is, you can share this video with them and say, hey, I watched this video and it gave me some good ideas. Maybe you should watch it too. All right, so let's get the knives out of the way and think about some other useful carry items. So the next one on the list is every bit as useful, maybe not with as much frequency, but that is a flashlight, specifically a small-sized flashlight, so that, here's a pen so you can see that this is a very small flashlight. Here's a couple of other examples. Where's the other one? There we go. So these are all flashlight's designed to be carried on your person, in your pocket, all the time, like all day, every day, so that if you ever need a light, you've got one. And there are any number of reasons. I can tell you from my own personal experience, I've used it for car repair. I've used it the other day. It's so dark right now. It's dark by like 5:30, and it was, we're getting into January, but a month ago it was dark even earlier. But I went out to run the snowblower and realized it's too dark for me to even see where to plug in the starter. So I got my flashlight out and was able to look around and figure it out. But I have used my flashlight to find lost jewelry, lost wallets. I've had people who are just near me and noticed, hey, can I borrow your flashlight? I've even used it when I was responding to a fire call. We responded to a call in a large warehouse. We got the fire out, and once there was no danger, the power was out and the owner wanted to go find something. I was able to use the flashlight in my pocket to navigate this giant warehouse and get the owner to wherever he needed to go to find power panel. That's what he was looking for. Anyway, all kinds of good reasons to carry a flashlight with you all the time. And you know what, when you start doing it, all of a sudden you'll realize, like, man, I have used this like 5 times already today. So by the way, again, like with the knives, there are flashlights at all kinds of different price points. The knives we had here, by the way, were the Paramilitary 2, the Cold Steel Con, and the Case Sodbuster. And I just tried to do sort of a broad generalization of knives. Here we have the Olight S2, the Olight S Mini, and the Ultratac K18. And again, there are bunches of other flashlights that you could use. Now, I wouldn't recommend the cheap, like made in China stuff, or the Dollarama stuff, or even the Walmart flashlights. I've looked all around Walmart and have yet to see a decent flashlight in there that's an everyday carry type of size, okay? So now maybe your Walmart's different than mine, and if it is, that's awesome. So get a decent flashlight that's going to be reliable, that's going to be dependable, that's going to have a decent amount of battery life and a decent amount of brightness. All right, it's worth, spending a little bit of money on. Now, you don't have to go to the extent of these. These guys are, around $100 or so. You don't have to go to that level. For $50, you can get a pretty nice light and have it with you all the time. All right, so flashlight is number 2. Number 3 is going to be a pen. And again, just like everything else, there are all kinds of examples of different cost levels and different price points. If you're one of those people, who really likes high-end stuff, you can find crazy expensive pens that are like custom made that cost hundreds of dollars, and they match your Rolex, or you can just buy something like this for like $3 or $4 that is highly reliable, very, very comfortable to write with, and has a really nice line that it produces. This is a Zebra 402. As you can see, this one's a Dr. Grip from Pilot, and this is a Charade. I think it's SC Pen 10 or something like that, but this is more of a tactical pen. And the reason I brought this one in is tactical pens tend to be a little more durable. They're not, the name tactical is essentially meaningless. It's just a pen that's a little more toughly built, which is useful for a lot of things. All right, now, again, what are you going to use a pen for? Well, I think that's pretty obvious. I won't even go into what a pen is for. Probably most of you know that. But on any given day, I have to write notes all over the place. I use them when I'm teaching a class to write down. As someone's speaking, I'll take notes about what they're saying so that I can respond accordingly. I write notes to myself about things I need to do. And one thing I always have a pen on me for is when there's a fire call, I will often write the address or the 911 number on my hand so that when I forget it and we're on the way to the call, I can look up and go, oh yeah, this is where we're going. All right, or I can look down at my hand and say, oh yeah, this is where we're going. So a pen is a really, really useful item, not only for yourself, but with all of these things, you will be amazed at how many times a day you have someone asking you if they can borrow your, fill in the blank from these items we're talking about. Next one up is a multi-tool. Now we're nearly done. I do want to give one thing an honorable mention. A lot of people like to carry a lighter, not because they smoke, but because they feel like they may need a reason they may have a reason, especially in a northern climate, to start a fire for warmth, light a candle in their car if they're stranded, stuff like that. So a lighter, I'm going to make an honorable mention because it's less often that you're going to need that. Although I know many of you will say, but yeah, that one time you need it, you really need it. Fair enough. Now, let's get back to the multi-tools. Multi-tools are number 4 on the list and sometimes can achieve some of the other stuff. There's a multi-tool from SOG. Now, it's not a very great one, but it does have a blade and a flashlight as part of the multi-tool. These don't. They're plier-based multi-tools. Okay, all of these are from Leatherman. This is the Leatherman Signal. This is a Leatherman Skeletal. They all have blades on them. And this is the Leatherman Sidekick. Again, it has a blade as well. Again, various sizes. So this one's pretty small. This is a moderate size. This one's sort of medium in between. They come in different prices. So 40 to about 120 bucks. Okay. And everything in between. A multi-tool again is really, really handy. The other day, we had gone somewhere and one of the taillights went out in the car. I was able to, by the way, I do keep extra taillights in the car. So I was able to go in the glove box, get a new light, and switch that out just with the tools that I had in my pocket. Okay. And it's really, really handy to be able to do that kind of stuff. So the number 4 item is a multi-tool. And of course, the joy of that is it can sometimes, depending on which tool you pick, even eliminate this. You may feel like this is all the knife you need. Now, I would much rather carry this along with a regular folding knife, because for any extensive cutting task, the blade in a regular folding knife is, generally speaking, going to be more useful to you. By the way, we didn't talk about a fixed blade, but a fixed blade, this is a sheath made by one of my viewers, really nicely done. And a small fixed blade like this is often, this is really, really slim, and this is really easy to carry. You can carry this all day, every day, very easily in your pocket and never be uncomfortable, never even know that you have it, honestly. And so that may be another option. Now, by the way, let me speak to the issue of, hey, if I'm carrying some of this stuff, somebody might think I'm weird. Well, that's only going to happen until they borrow it 5 times from you. Okay, number 1. Number 2, just kind of, if they know you and they understand that you're using it as a tool, nobody is going to have a problem. And I think I've mentioned that once before in the video. Now, the last thing I've got here is a little bigger. I'm not going to get it all out, but this is a first aid kit. Now, this one is a little bigger, and I'll tell you why. This is all stuff that I was able to get from the dollar store, and this one is designed really to go in a car. Okay, so it can be a little bit larger. But let's just bring a couple of things back in kind of while we're finishing off here. A first aid kit is extremely handy to have. Number 1, because you'd be surprised at how many people don't have one. And number 2, because if you have one, if you familiarized yourself with everything that's in there, you'll be surprised again at how often you need to use it or even lend it, right? Maybe you're not the one who's dealing with the emergency, but you can say to the person who is, hey, I've got a first aid kit, should I get it? And they'll likely say yes, all right? Of course, some training is very helpful with that, but honestly, standard first aid and CPR is pretty simple, and a little bit of a training class and some refresher material every so often will keep you more than ready and able to help somebody out when you need to. Okay, so those are the top 5 items to carry with you at all times. Let me throw out just a couple more quick honorable mentions, okay? How about a battery charger? That is a portable phone charger that can be extremely useful, especially if you're in a remote location and you could potentially need to call for help. Having that extra backup battery is well worth it. Warm stuff, okay? Hats, mitts, extra coats maybe, but more hats, mitts, blankets in your car, especially when it's really cold, extra water in your car when it's really hot, just because if there's ever a breakdown, there are all kinds of horror stories about what people have had to endure because they didn't take the extra step of putting a candle and a toque in their car. Okay, so some extra warm material for winter, some things to keep you cool in summer in your car all the time. Duct tape, zip ties, and a survival kit, an outdoor survival kit are all, again, highly recommended. Not in the top 5, but definitely honorable mentions. And finally, something that I always carry in my car, and again, I've found it handy so often, is a breaker bar that is an easy bar with a wrench, okay? With a socket, I'm trying to say. So a socket with a big, long, heavy bar on it so that you can change a tire quickly and easily. That is invaluable. It takes up no space in your car, and you will, be so happy that you have it if you ever have to change a tire by the side of the road. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't forget to share this video with all of your friends who don't regularly carry the things that they might need to be prepared for life. We'll talk to you soon.